the assumption, yeah, of course, the Ornn is a possibility. But that's the. Do you assume it's going to be flexed or not? That's the question, right? Because I think Mord is generally a pretty safe ban that Vitality could go for. Rumble is another good one, I think, just in case the Ornn is flexed into a different position. But of course, Rumble, I think we've been seeing a lot in mid lane. Yeah, we have. We saw it last year coming out from Doinby, of course, the Predator Rumble that would roam around the map.
Don't remind me of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that Mordekaiser would be a pretty good ban for Vitality. For SK, they do not get that first pick, so I think that they want to try and take away some of the other strong champions that still exist. I like the Ryze ban. They could also consider taking things like the Diana away if they want to try and limit the mid lane pool even more. Of course, with a lot of the mid lane or the current strong mid laners being banned away, you're kind of moving into
Nocturne mid territory.
No, not Nocturne mid territory. You're never that far into the pool. But yeah, LeBlanc was another one I was going to mention. Orianna is kind of the last one that you're looking at as a potential strong mid laner. So Vitality right now, they could just look to lock in their mid laner and go, well, what have you got left?
Does give SK the opportunity to sort of, counter pick if the mid laner is locked in straight away. And Orianna alongside the Ornn, the Rek'Sai, and the Aphelios would have a great team fight comp, but final ban still just a moment away here for SK. Let's see what they decide to go for. Zoe is where they go. Is it once again a mid laner, as we said?
Yeah, so I've got Zoe on my B tier in terms of priority, and remember when we moved down the priority list, every champion that I have on my tier list for mid laners has been banned away except for Cassio and Orianna. The first pick that gets locked in is Cassio. My question is now, do they answer with an Orianna? No, it looks like. But is this Vel'Koz support?
I think it's going to be Vel'Koz support. I think it provides enough poke and enough heal for an Aphelios if the Aphelios plays relatively
I think
safe.
it's mid.
You think it's mid?
Yeah, I think it's mid.
Okay, I mean, that's exciting. Okay, Vel'Koz mid. We get Aphelios and Vel'Koz on the same team. That wombo combo is disgusting. Glacial Fissure into Call of the Forge God, into Human Disintegration Ray, into Aphelios doing Aphelios things. Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
It's getting me excited.
I think it's also... The thing about Cassio is that while she can be very strong in terms of the DPS, she needs to close that gap on you. She needs to be able to get into relatively close range, and something that Vel'Koz does very well is keeps you at a distance. Every time you try to close the gap, he's going to hit you with that Q. You then try to, okay, oh, I'm going to flash that, or maybe I'm going to sidestep it. Oh, then you get hit by the E. It's very obnoxious trying to close the gap against this champion, and that's why I love this Leona final lock-in from Vitality, because you need something that can just press that go button so that you can dive on top of them, that engage. And I think that the Leona will offer that. But then with the Braum coming out from SK, it's going to be a great answer to the Misfortune Burst. It's going to be able to block the Cassiopeia ultimate as well. So I feel like SK have the more well-rounded draft. I think it's safer as long as they don't make too many mistakes in the early game. I think they have much stronger late game options, because it's going to be very difficult for Vitality to force these fights unless they can find a successful flank similar to what G2 were able to do.
So Vitality will need to play around the vision game and around that Leona ultimate. I do see a cleanse on Crownshot on that Aphelios, making it even harder to keep him locked down. And of course, Severum can heal you up in the lane, so you don't need that heal as much as perhaps you might. See the coaches shaking hands as they make their way away from the stage, and we get ready for the second game of the day. SK's draft seemed like the favorable one to you, Vedius. Vitality have a lot to do, especially in the early game if they want to get ahead.
Yeah, I think the early game is really important. I actually want to see Vitality invest a lot towards the bot side of the map. I don't think shutting the Ornn down is going to do them a lot of favors. I think they want to try and get comp ahead, and we know that he is a player that, when given resources, can carry, as he showcased a lot domestically in the LFL League.
He really did. On LDLC, he won back-to-back splits, back-to-back playoffs, and then the grand finals at the end of it all as well. Sadly, didn't do too well in the EU Masters, but domestically he has had incredible performances and is used to playing on a stage, which definitely helps for your first game in front of the LEC crowd. Here we go. On to Summoner's Rift. That Vel'Koz mid. Gotta admit, it surprised me.
Gotta look at this level 1 though. We can see Vitality looking to set up some shenanigans. Early vision going to come out from SK, so that will mitigate any early playmaking. No one's going to hit that ward. Ah, there we are.
That extra 10 gold is vital for the bot lane matchup, Vedius. It's not.
It's a 1 CS advantage. I call that winning. Ooh, notice the cleanse on Crownshot. He's going to be like, ugh, avoiding the CC.
I did talk about that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying. Ugh.
Oh.
And I'm like, notice it, Medic. Did you notice it?
I noticed it in Pick and Ban, which is why I talked about it.
That's really good. Good job. Good spot. I don't trust Pick and Ban.
I understand that.
Pick and Ban has told me that they've all ran Smite before, yes. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think that's accurate.
That would be a fun game of League of Legends, though.
But now, Medics, have you noticed that Crownshot's running Cleanse?
Oh, he's running Cleanse?
He is running Cleanse.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he is running that.
And why is that good?
It's good against Leona, because when she tries to all-in you, you can remove it. You can remove the crowd control with the Cleanse.
You know what a good Leona can do?
Tell me.
Zenith Blade onto you, and then just hold the stun.
Yes.
Just never pop the Shield of Daybreak. And you know what else we can hold? The game.
The game. We're pausing very briefly. Limit is the one that threw that one up. As you can see, our referees are dealing with the issue, and once we have some more information, we'll be able to get back to you. In the time being, you're listening to the sweet sounds of Medivedi.
We're starting our own podcast on day one of the LEC
It's no
Spring
podcast,
Split.
it's just, I'm just letting them know who they're listening to. We're here for Game 2. We had an exciting Game 1 if you've just joined us. SK versus Vitality, 2 rookie rosters. A lot of new players on stage, a lot of familiar faces as well. Always excited to see Cabochard return to the Rift. That man has been playing for a number of years now.
And only for Vitality.
Only for
the only player from the original Vitality squad with like Shook and Nuke Duck who is still around.
Yes. Of course, he did have a stint with Gambit a little bit before Vitality, but he is a player that has been around for a while now. And many eyes look to him to be the primary carry of this roster. And we'll see if he'll be able to make that one work out.
Have a break, Freddy.
Now, we here on the caster desk, because there is a pause, are in fact having a break. And due to our recent sponsorship, we can do that with the wondrous Kit Kat, which you two can at home. Grab yourself a Kit Kat, have yourself a break.
Yeah, it's nice.
Camera cut to us, and then do it.
I don't think they want to, Vinny. I think we should concentrate on talking about SK and Vitality
but
for a while.
I had a bit prepared.
Were you going to eat it finger by finger? Or
no, I was going to show them how I eat a Kit Kat.
Okay, so let's talk more about SK. Because that's how normal people eat Kit Kats.
Yeah, and that's the point. That's how you're supposed to eat a Kit Kat, Medic. There are some people that like eat into the side of it.
Like this?
And oh my, what have you done? Who eats a Kit Kat like that?
Well, it's the width of my mouth, so I just... Anyway, we're back into League of Legends.
Literally eating it in half. Oh, we're back to the game. Excellent. Catches up, Medic. What have we missed?
Chewing.
You're having a break? We got to get off the break. The pause is over, Medic.
Okay, so we haven't really missed too much. Interestingly, Trick started at Gromp. No, he started at Blue Buff. Now he's going across towards the Gromp. Skeanz started at his red and has now gone all the way over to the Wolves. And perhaps not even doing a full topside clear. He's going to come across here and then clear this bottom side. Perhaps look down towards that bottom lane for a gank.
Yeah, so he can do Gromp if he wants, and that will give him level 3. But something that Ender has spoken to me at length about, and I really mean at length, is that junglers often will just do one side of their jungle because of how quickly the camps actually respawn. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw Skeanz constantly return to his bot side of the map. Krugs, you don't need to do them anymore because of all the additional XP that Gromp does give you. And I do think that bot lane is an easy lane for Vitality to play around. Obviously, with the... why do I forget that? Cleanse available on Crownshot, it will be a little bit harder. But you can see a wave stacking up. Cabochard does have his teleport. They do have some vision control on the bot side river. Like right now, it's looking like a potential dive. Always dangerous to do against a Braum.
So dangerous against a Braum.
But it's an option.
It is.
We're kind of giving those options available, seeing what they want to prioritize.
Now, Skeanz has just walked across the ward. He will not step too far forward here. I'm not sure if he spotted out that those Razor Beaks had been finished. And it looks like he's just going to settle for the Scuttle. Of course, if you can get double Scuttle, you can put the enemy jungler miles behind in the early game. That may be what he tries to do. Slight CS lead for Comp and Jactroll on the bottom side of the map, but there's a wave pushing in, and Crownshot should be able to equalize that pretty quickly.
Cabochard able to push in the top side of the map. We saw this in our first game of the day, Aatrox versus Ornn. Ornn, he's not really supposed to do anything. He just kind of sits back, chills. At level 6, he may have some kill pressure because you can swap over to the Ignite with the Spellbook. And especially against an Aatrox, you can have a lot of damage. People always underestimate the power of the Ornn. But right now his wave is in a bit of an awkward state because the tower did end up killing one of those minions, and that's slowly pushing towards Cabochard. So he's not going to try and push this. He's going to force Sacre to overextend. Oh, never mind. He's just going to use his Q on the wave. All right, fair enough. I suppose he does have his jungle on the top side, so he could look to just push this wave in now, force it under the tower, and then look for an early base, try and get in the base before Sacre. Then maybe he doesn't have to burn his teleport.
Something good for the bottom side of the map is the fact that Comp has got this early back off, and because he's got struts, he's actually able to get towards this wave pretty rapidly and not miss out on too many minions. He's got double longsword now in that lane. He's about 10 farm down, but Crownshot, as we've said, without the heal, if he gets caught out, if that Leona is able to lock him down for more than a couple of seconds, it's going to be very difficult for Crownshot to survive.
Sacre going to do a base after seeing Jenax do the same thing. Of course, Sacre does have the teleport, which means that he can go back and buy the tier and then immediately come back into lane, maintain that small CS advantage that he does have. You can see how safe it is for Jenax in the mid lane. We briefly spoke about this matchup during Champion Selects, but what you're going to see Jenax do a lot, he doesn't have the strongest wave clear at early levels, but he's very safe, very difficult to gank. Often you'll see a defensive summoner spell, like a heal or a barrier to provide that extra bit of safety, and he's just going to farm and wave and slowly ramp up throughout the game and honestly make this Cassio's life difficult as we see a playing bot.
Looking for the lockdown, but there's a cleanse straight away from Crownshot. He's got the Infernum. Jactroll has to flash away. Skeanz is here. The double up connects. There's the Sonic Wave as well, but you can't really jump in because Trick will just unburrow. You see Skeanz was thinking about it, but the Rek'Sai had his number.
So both junglers in position to set up for the play on the bot side of the map. Good response from SK as they get the flash out from Jactroll and the heal from Comp. So overall, SK coming out ahead in this early skirmish. Gold's still very even. Both teams slowly ramping up as Cloud Drake is on the board. No team's playing for it yet.
Crownshot not having the cleanse does mean he has to play that little bit more safely in this bottom lane. Of course, Limit can step between Crownshot and Comp and put up that Unbreakable to mitigate quite a lot of the damage, but Leona at the moment is in such a strong state, and I'm not going to say overpowered because I'm a Leona player, such a strong state that she can probably 1v1 the AD carry if he's caught out. So Crownshot needs to be just that little bit more cautious. He should be fine. In the middle,
I love how you lead it with, because I'm a support player.
I have a 60% win rate on Leona. I have played 4 games on any other champion.
It's really reasonable that I, as a support, can 1v1 the enemy AD carry.
I think that's fair. They can 1v1 me.
Yeah, I'm just evening out the balance, guys.
Exactly.
Honestly, it's about time.
As a tank with 1 item, I should be able to kill the enemy AD carry.
Well, Skeanz is going to kill the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, this is a good
shot crying in the background. But I'm actually a massive fan of the changes to Cloud Drake.
Yeah.
10% cooldown reduction to your ultimate, really valuable. I love it when it's a Cloud map, largely because I don't like the speedy boost thing. Don't think that's super valuable. But Jenax actually roaming top.
Flash away by Cabochard. Life Form with his integration ray just rips through him. Not really too much you can do there. Sacre will get the first kill on the board for SK.
Good kill. Good roam from SK as well. They recognized that the Drake was going down. Their base timings were not optimal, or at least in a position to allow them to contest or challenge that early Drake. And honestly, it's not really worth fighting for that very first Drake because the stats aren't massive. So they used that opportunity to roam top. They had a wave stacking up. Trick is now behind Cabo, but he's not going to look for anything as Sacre is not in a position to answer. So again, if you look at your minimap, you can see that Cassio had to go and answer the mid wave. A very clean dive coming out from SK. Trick was here as well. Overall, everything came together, very clean set.
Yeah, as soon as you flash away, you know that Life Form disintegration ray should be able to find its mark. Sacre locking Cabo up against the wall made it very easy for Jenax to get damage down. Across the board, no real first completed items. It's only 8 minutes into the game, but we can see the essence of them coming in. And there's no real massive gold leads either.
But this is fine. This is around the time when the game broke open between G2 and Mad as well. We'll see if anyone gets caught out. But I feel like fights happen a lot earlier, largely because junglers want to try and force action earlier. I feel like that it's a lot harder for junglers to have an impact compared to how they used to because of how they ramp up and how they scale throughout the game. So a lot of junglers this day and age are looking to try and have influence early on, so within the first 15 minutes. And that's why you see a lot of these Lee Sins, Rek'Sais, Elises. And now that Trick has hit level 6, he's pathing towards the bot side of the map. Sacre has pushed out top, and you can see, I thought he may look for a roam towards the mid bot side. But I feel like action is a brewing.
Skeanz on a ward. Once again, Trick is down here. They're going in. Look for the damage, and you can see Limit almost taking down the Unbreakable. He's ticking away. There's the Ignite. And if the AD carry has cleanse, just go for the support.
There's the action that we were hoping for.
Yep.
Vitality are able to answer back with a kill. They secure it onto Limit. He didn't hit that level 6 mark yet. So Vitality used their level advantage to force a play, and even though Skeanz was spotted on a ward and Limit was trying to play defensively, it wasn't enough. Vitality answered with a good kill.
It means there's only a 300 gold difference between the two teams. Skeanz on the board in terms of assists. Sacre's going to be able to chase out Jenax. It didn't hit.
You gotta
that
run, dude.
first
You gotta
Noxious Blast,
run.
but you gotta run, as you say. He's going to heal away. Second Noxious Blast will connect. Jactroll, Skeanz, and Comp teaming up here off towards the top side. There's no objective on the bottom side of the map. You just go for this Rift Herald and see if you can force Sacre out.
It's a good swap from Vitality. I liked it. SK did see the Drake go down earlier, but they didn't want to swap too early into the game because they were still pretty low level. But Vitality, after getting that kill, knowing that they can get a good reset in, have now decided to swap, which allows them to be in a position to set up, contest for, and play for this early Rift Herald.
And I think early in the season, this is always what we're looking for from teams. You know, a degree of coordination, everyone looking like they're on the same page, being able to make these standard, in inverted commas, macro plays. And then as the season develops, you see more of that synergy come out. You see more of the big plays made between, you know, jungle mid laners or the support duos.
So the thing I always look for with rookies is how many risks are they willing to take?
Yeah.
Because it's scary. It's nervous playing on the stage, especially in front of a live crowd. You don't want to be the person that costs your team the game or has a bad game. So more often than not, it's better to just take the safe approach. Oh, could I go for this trade? I could, but why risk it? So let's not. And one of the big advantages, and I mean, we saw it in game 1, teams that are willing to take those gambles can often turn games and swing games and be that avenue into finding an advantage. And like, we are seeing Jactroll make a lot of the plays towards the bot side of the map, but as we approach the mid game, as we get closer to these early tower plates falling and the map opening up a little bit more, I'm looking at which players are the ones taking those gambles, which are the ones stepping up, and which of these rookies that we do have on the Rift right now are willing to showcase the stuff in the LEC.
There was actually a great interview that Dash did with Golden Glue on the LoL Esports channel, talking about that very thing, where Golden Glue said, I used to worry that people would flame me if I made mistakes, and then I think it was Reaper said to him, look, you got to make the mistake because you never know if you can make the play unless you've failed it a few times. So we'll see.
That's my solo queue mentality. Like, I fail
you could not do it in my game.
I fail, but you know I'm learning. It's all a learning process, Nick. You've got to learn with me. You know, like think about the beginning of your casting career. It was just failure after failure, but then by working with me, you see how you grew and got better. You see?
I definitely grew physically.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to cast with you, man.
Always
Had
fun.
a lot of fun so far in the first 2 games. The Ocean Drake now going to be secured by SK. But if we actually look at the wave state and the positioning of SK, this is a bit of a gamble by Trick. Can he steal this one away? Yes, he can.
And there's tunnels.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he was able to do it. Even though he didn't have anyone in the mid lane, he has this network available. Thank you, observers, for highlighting this. And because of that, he was able to sneak into the Dragon, started off, and while Vitality could have contested, unfortunately they noticed too late, which means that they end up losing that. Now the mountain has spawned, you can see that there's a lot more terrain on the map, so you have to be very careful when fighting in these choke points, because it's very dangerous, especially for these strong teamfight comps. And with a Vel'Koz on the board, what that basically means is, if you try to fight, do you see where Jactroll is right now? This position, very dangerous to try and force a 5v5 in because of the wombo combo potential, but the same obviously applies for Vitality. Misfortune ultimate inside that narrow
Solar
choke.
Flare, petrifying gaze, leasing kick.
So you got to be careful. Like, it can be both a good blessing and a curse, depending on who the initiator is in those situations.
Well, we'll see which team is able to pull the trigger. That Rift Herald is there off towards the top side. Neither team's actually been able to secure the first one as of yet, but Crownshot still not completing an item on this Aphelios. Went for the Zerka Greaves with a BF sword, but Essence Reaver on comp, so he has that little bit more combat strength. Seraphs is stacking up for Sacre in that middle lane on the Snake Lady, the Cassiopeia. I mean, across the board, things are pretty even. I do want to give some credit to Sacre in that top lane. He's been able to keep that CS deficit that we've seen in an Aatrox versus Ornn matchup pretty close. It's only about 10 farm between those 2 laners.
Of course, he did get that kill. That helped him a little bit.
Yeah.
Sacre now hitting level 11, as you can see on your screen. And they're going to hand this blue over to Jenax. So level 11 is a pretty big spike for a lot of champions. They will have that second point in their ultimate, a lot of extra damage. The Aatrox is coming up. He does have the TP. TP used first by Sacre.
Here we go. Solar Flare's going to land on the back line, and there is the bullet time. Trick has to flash away. Teleport coming in by Vitality. Call of the Forge God, though. That's in a great position. Jactroll knocked up. The Moonlight Vigil snipes him down. And Crownshot is getting chased off towards the top side, but the Rift Herald has been restarted by SK. Skeanz could look to steal. Hasn't got his flash. Has got the smite. Sonic Wave. Didn't see if that connected. It can't have, because there's the smite. Trick secures it, and the more experienced jungler wins out on the day.
So, SK played that very patiently. They used their range to their advantage, and they didn't get baited into this team fight that Vitality were trying to force. Now that they were able to kill, or at least force Vitality back, they're now in a position to secure this mid tower. This will be the first tower of the game, so overall, very well played by the SK squad.
Very good stuff all around, and I said Trick, the more experienced jungler, not only in terms of LEC years, but also on the map. He's level 9 to level 7 here. Trick, level 8 at the start of the fight.
So the positioning is not optimal for SK. You can see that Limit and Trick are the ones that get engaged on, but of course this is a Braum and a Rek'Sai, so they just soak up a lot of the damage, they buy time, and Crownshot, while ultimately shouldn't have been able to get into the fight, uses the very long range of his ultimate to snipe out the target, find himself a kill, and with a numbers advantage and no ultimates left on Vitality, SK can walk in, secure the objective, and walk back out.
There's a minute and a half before the Mountain Drake spawns as well. Still a long way away from a soul for either of these teams, but with all of these level 11s being hit, you have to expect more action on the Rift. 15 minutes in, it's about a 1,500 gold lead for SK. Trick caught out here, look for the tunnel away, we'll get the knocker, but Sacre just sinks in those fangs. There's another kill across towards Vitality, 2-2 at 15 minutes, and SK maybe not done yet. Inferno Chains lands, doesn't quite connect onto the Limit though. He's going to try and dodge away. There's the Unbreakable. Skeanz going in with the chase, and there's the bullet time. Limit pops the stopwatch. Skeanz low, already down. Crownshot takes one. Aphelios opening up, and Crump has to jump away. The Cleaver from long range was hitting his shots. Now Severum is the gun of choice for Crownshot, and Vitality 5 members strong here. Well, 4 members will just all back away. Meanwhile, Sacre was just proxy farming the wave in the top lane.
A lot of picks going back and forth. Honestly, kind of a mistake coming out from Trick. He thought that he was safe moving into that side of the map because of all the vision that he had, but because Sacre had priority in the mid lane, he was able to move first, and with a great use of the miasma, they could find that pick onto Trick. But then Vitality got over eager. They tried to force a dive onto Crownshot and Limit, and, well, we're about to see the payout of that effort.
Oh, we're going to see Sacre.
Oh, we were.
He was just waiting in a bush. He's just waiting without vision.
Trap. He sprung once he found his prey.
Snake in the grass.
Snake in the grass, indeed. We'll find that kill. Big shutdown as well. 500 gold into the back pocket of Sacre. He's going to be very, very happy about that one. And kill score very even once again.
It really is, and I want to think about how this game develops from here, because it's only 1,000 gold between the two teams. You've got an Aphelios who scales really well. On the other side, you've got Cassio that scales really well. What are your expectations for the next few fights and next few minutes, Fetty?
Well, I think it's easier for SK to start team fights, but one of the things they have to be careful of is the amount of zone control available on Vitality. Vitality have Misfortune Ultimate, they have the Misfortune E, there's also the Leona Ultimate you have to be careful of, there's also the Miasma on top of the Cassio, and you're just kind of looking at this composition and you're like, wow, there are a lot of things, if you try to close the gap, are going to get in your way and they're going to be really obnoxious to deal with. But SK do have a lot of range. You know, the long-range ultimate from Crownshot, the long-range damage coming out from Jenax. So I'm quite curious as to how these fights will play out, because while I feel SK have a better range advantage, it's actually very difficult for them to force engages onto Vitality because of how good their zone control tools are. But kind of my hunch says that SK should have an advantage in these fights, but I don't want to commit to that just yet.
I'm not forcing you to commit. I want an overall picture. I think week 1, day 1, you committing to who is going to win fights in a Summoner's Rift experience we haven't seen too often recently. It's not something I'm going to force you to do, Vedius. We are starting to see those first couple of items across the board. You can see Leandry's alongside the Seraph's Embrace, upgraded for Sacre. Essence Reaver on Comp, Essence Reaver on Crownshot. And that Ornn is getting up towards level 13, so he'll be waiting for perhaps an Infinity Edge from Crownshot so that he can pop that one up towards a Molten Edge.
So what we'll start to see is carries start to take away jungle camps. Jungle camps spawn much faster.
Ender tells me not to do that.
Yeah, but well, it's funny because Ender tells me to do it all the time. You can see Comp doing it right now. He's just going to take some of these jungle camps. Of course, Skeanz is here, so he's not just going to take it from him. But if Skeanz is clearing the top side of the map and wolves spawn, just take it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to spawn back so quickly. By the time he makes his way towards the bottom side of the map, he can probably actually just pick up the respawning of the wolves. So it's one of those things where you'll see in the mid-game, junglers will start to lose a lot more farm, while the laners will invest more and more into taking this gold because they're more important. That's why we see, again, a lot of these early game junglers, because their purpose is to be relevant in the early game. They're supposed to be hunters, killers, fighters, whereas the gold and the resources really need to be more invested in the actual carries.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Vitality actually yet to get on the board in terms of turrets. I was just noticing that SK have cleared that entire tier 1 set. And once again, Vitality didn't really have the vision control to know they were safe here in the top lane to take down that tower. So a 2,000 gold lead for SK, going to come predominantly from the turrets line they have taken. There's about a 20 CS lead between the AD carries, but right now that's nothing too consequential.
Yeah, a lot of the gold difference is actually between top and jungle, surprisingly. The farm advantage coming out from Trick is what's giving him that advantage initially.
So I love that. It's just like, gonna charge at you and exhaust.
Yeah, he just wants to use it. Get it out of the way. Once his teleport available. Baron is up. Dragon is going to be up in 2 minutes' time. This game has been a lot more chill compared to what we had in the last game.
And we talked about like nerves of rookies, people less experienced playing on stage.
Scaling. Scaling. Oh yeah. That wasn't a snake joke. Promise. We already made that.
Oh wow! I didn't even think of that.
All right. Well, use it for later then.
Sacred scaling in the top. He knows Trick's there. He saw him. There he goes, straight to the Petrifying Gaze, and Skeanz is waiting round the corner. The Dragon's Edge kick is not going to be enough, though, and the Lifeform Disintegration Ray finds its mark. Trick still dies somehow off towards the side, just poison takes him down. Even with Sacre teleporting in, SK were not able to react.
Wow. So Sacre was able to turn that actually in his favor. He now secures himself 3 kills and a small gold, well, kill advantage to Vitality.
Oh, here we go again.
He knows.
Here we go again. Jenax has
prey.
the flash on the chase. There's the miasma. Can't flash away from that. And the chase is on. Skeanz and Sacre team up once again.
So they find another pick. They will also secure the bot lane tower. So Vitality now equalizing the gold and just finding these small advantages up against their opposition. We'll have a look back at how this play happened. Again, the pings come down, they know, but they believe they can win this 2 versus 2. So, Sun comes through. A bit of a misplay there from the kick, but yet, Sacre just lands the Q, and of course, now that has 5 points in it, it does a lot of damage, especially with the Leandries. Well played there by Sacre to actually turn that into a kill, so good job by him.
Another turret going down to Vitality as well. First time in a while they have had that gold lead. Meanwhile, everyone is grouped up in mid as the fight begins. Sacre going in. Sonic Wave's going to connect, and he's just stunned up, locked in place. The power of the sun rains down on his head, but you do still have to be careful about Crownshot. He's popped that Moonlight Vigil. The Infernum didn't do too much work, but did distract and dissuade Vitality. And now Sacre has joined the squad, but he's sitting on a couple of wards, one of which he was able to clear out, the second of which he now notices is there. You can't be a sneaky scaling snake unless you have cleared out that vision.
Now, a lot of resources were burnt to try and kill Sacre. He still has his ultimate available. Trick has just hit level 11, and Vitality were unable to kill him. This means that SK have priority over the Mountain Drake, but they're trying to threaten the Baron. They're saying, hey SK, if you want to do that, then we're going to go over here and do this. And SK are like, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't want you to have that. So it seems that we've had a bit of a gentleman's agreement. Vitality has said, okay, we'll just take our vision, we'll back off.
Yeah.
And SK is like, okay, we'll take the Mountain Drake. Now, we talked last game about how the Mountain Drake can benefit very tanky comps. With things like Ornn and Braum, I'm a big fan of the Mountain Drake because of how valuable it can be, but of course its percentage resistances increase. So, Misfortune, the Vel'Koz, the Aphelios,
yeah, not so much.
Not really going to gain much value from it. It's much more valuable to those tanks, to that front line. And part of the reason, well, not the reason, but like it's a nice quality of life thing for the tanks to make them a little bit more impactful.
Anyone who noticed that Jactroll used his stopwatch a little bit randomly, he was going back to buy gargoyles, so he just wanted to stop any damage from coming through to him. Gargoyles now complete. We are seeing this a lot on tank supports. I think I saw a Cadro tweet which said, I'm not sure which is tankier, a 4-item Ornn or a Leona with stopwatch. And it's true. It makes you incredibly
The Leona with
tanky.
stopwatch.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That W... Wait, we can check. I can check.
So it doesn't work with W because it's...
No, but the W just gives...
Oh, yeah. Flat armor and magic.
Yes.
Like 40 and 30, I want to say.
Right now, it gives the Leona...
40 and 40.
52 and 54. 52 armor,
strong.
54 magic resistance.
And then you just increase your health by 40% or 100%, depending on how many players are around you with the Gargoyle Stone Plate. That's the thing with Leona and Nautilus. If you're building a first item, make it a Gargoyle Stone Plate, because you're always going to be in the middle of the enemy team.
That's fair. There you go. Wise words from Medic, the support main.
I have like a 60% win rate on her, just because she's slightly...
I mean, I noticed that you've now casually dropped that twice in this game. I wonder how many times you're going to mention it throughout the day, Medic.
I think it's just very important that I remind people how good I am at Leona.
Just so that when you give people Leona facts, it's like, it's from a credible source.
Guys, I know what I'm talking about. It's like if you gave me a Nocturne fact.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Nocturne right now. It's not going well. In any case, the dragon spawns in about 3 minutes time. Baron isn't up. One thing that we haven't spoken about yet this game is the Baron taking power of these teams. Cassio, very good Baron taking champion. She just melts through that objective. I believe that Aphelios is also a good Baron taking champion, depending on what weapon he has available to him. Gravitum, depressing. But if he does have the Crescendo, that Baron just gets like melted.
Oh, he's got it, Betty!
No, he's not going to do it now, is he? He's not. He's like, well, Crescendo, got to do Baron, let's go.
Let's go.
No.
Hey, Betty, because the game has been a little bit slower, do you want to play Medic's Quiz?
No.
Couldn't think of a good name. Good name for Medic's Quiz. Medic's
What are the subjects?
Trivia. Okay, we have one subject, okay? Trick.
Okay.
Okay. We are guessing how much damage Trick has done to enemy champions this game. I'll give you 3 options.
3 options.
Less than 1,000, between 1,000 and 5,000, or more than 5,000.
Less than 1,000.
It is less than 1,000, okay? Let's play again. First option, less than 500, between 500 and 750, or more than 750.
I'm going to say less than 500.
Less than 500, Vedius. Okay, here we go, last time.
This is a tough quiz.
240, 360, or 480.
Is it 240?
It's 240 damage to enemy champions in 26 minutes. He's done less than 10 damage a minute to enemy champions.
Oh.
But he did get that rift out.
I mean, that was a fun quiz.
Here we go. Baron has been started. Vitality are the ones.
Oh, they know.
SK coming. Sacre, Call of the Forge God. Great positioning for him here. He opens up. Praying to the gods above. Limit coming in as well with the Glacial Fissure. Skeanz is in there. Already in the pit. Dodges away from it. The smite. It's all he needs, but it's Cassio that gets it. Now, Vitality has to get out of the pit. Cabochard, Skeanz have jumped away. The bullet time's opened up. Trick with the knockup adds to his damage score. Gets the shutdown. But Vitality get her out with Baron on 3.
Now, Trick, while he does increase his damage amount, he does not secure the Baron for SK. Vitality walk away with that one, but what a gamble. Skeanz, I don't think he had smite.
That was weird.
You did not have that available when he started off that Baron, and now SK, they're actually looking to push in. Of course, there are the Baron minion, but look at the flank from Sacre.
Go for the fight. Volcanic Rupture isn't going to get the knockup. Can't be able to escape. The Inferno Chains will pull Sacre back, and there's no minions here. This tower isn't falling that quickly. Now the minions join them up. SK are going to push through the mid lane. We're looking for more, wanted more, but just going to have to settle for one tower.
Well, the dragon spawns in 25 seconds. Vitality can use the reset that's likely to come out from SK as an opportunity to secure that objective. Gold's still very even, and you can see in the top right of your screen, the Baron buff not resulting in a huge payout right now, but the team is regrouping. Sacre is alive. He's making his way down mid lane, and they want to try and break into this first mid tower of SK.
The thing is, there's so many turrets available for Vitality that if they have the Baron for a little while, maybe they can look to get, 2 or 3 towers out of it because they haven't taken them before. But instead they say, okay, we want to get that clock ticking on the soul. We want that mountain soul pretty soon. They're going to take the dragon away, and that means it is 5 minutes before Vitality will fight for that soul.
Look at what Limit is up to right now. On the top side jungle, he's just dropped 2 little wards on Vitality's top half of the map. Wants to make sure that he can see what they're up to, while Trick also steals away some of these jungle camps. Just good awareness of where Vitality is on the map and how they can get some vision down, while Comp takes away some more jungle camps. But now Vitality have their eyes set on the bot side jungle. They want to see if they can secure this tier 2 in the bot lane. Sacre not going to offer enough wave clear, and they see Crownshot in the top lane. They know that he's there, the risk of a collapse is very low, and Cabo's just going to be like, alright, just going to slowly chip away at this tower while the rest of Vitality siege in mid.
Cabo, very experienced in playing this sort of position for the team. Will just back away when he needs to. There's a cannon minion in this mid wave, so it should be pretty easy for him. Sacre actually perhaps looking for the dive in the bottom lane. He's going down there. Vitality back away from the mid lane wave. They're looking to see if Sacre stays too long. He doesn't, and the tower will fall. Overall, 115 gold so far from the Dragon. And from the Baron, sorry, and we'll see what they are able to get out of the rest of it. 20 seconds left, that's going to be it. I guess if you lose 2 players and then you decide to prioritize the mountain over going for the push, you take what you can get from Baron buff.
So you can get plus 149 gold.
That's 3 control wards.
Yeah, worth.
Sure. As a support, sure, but no one buys them anyway. So we will see.
It's one of those games where, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Caution seems to be the word that is kind of blowing through the rift right now. You're just like, ooh, careful.
Like, even the rift is like, oh, we'll give you some mountain tricks to improve that caution.
It's like you know, it's like a mother with their child. You know, like obviously you care a lot about the child and you want them to be safe. But like, it gets to a point where you kind of need to let them leave the nest and be like, hey, throw a dagger, see what happens. Now, admittedly, I'm not advocating for children to throw daggers.
I mean, that did sound like what you were advocating for.
In the game of League of Legends, what I'm saying is like, hey, like, you know, take a gamble. Obviously, you want to try and wait for the right time, the right moment, that right opportunity. And of course, with MF being at 3 items right now, like, now would be a pretty good time. Now would be a pretty good time. Maybe they're waiting for the dragon. They're playing patient. They're playing safe. Look at that shield on top of Comp right now. It's a pretty big shield. Of course, the other thing we didn't talk about was the Ornn items. They offer that little bit of extra late game value because you get like 1,000 gold's worth of extra stats. And you can see the Molten Edge now being completed for Crownshot is going to make him that bit stronger.
Do you know what the Luden's Echo upgrade is called?
The Luden's Echoes? Is it called the...
Okay, if you don't know, just say no, because I need the punchline to come pretty quick.
I'm going to say no, I don't.
Luden's Echo, 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 Echo. Crowd hated it. Thank you, John.
That was like golf claps. That's
I had to look at them and point at them.
Very
like,
entertaining, Minik. Yes, well done, yes.
It was better
you can
than
have
I
that
don't
one.
know.
Well, I was trying really hard. I was like, is it like the Molten Echo?
No.
Maybe it's the...
I know the Zonya's. Zonya's is Zonya's Paradox.
The only one I know is Molten Edge.
Well, that's because I said it in the last game.
No, but I also just know that one.
Do you know what? Whoa. Ooh, okay. Miasma coming down. Sacre might just die before the rest of his team can come here to save him. Noxious Blast doesn't quite connect the second time, so Sacre just trading in here. The rest of SK on their way, and Sacre caught out. Even with the Petrifying Gaze, isn't going to be able to do too much. SK find a kill in the top lane.
Yeah, the moment that knockup landed from Sacre, that was all SK needed to jump on top of Sacre. He's going to lose his life. But Vitality will answer with a mid-tier 1, so they can't really complain. Sure, their mid lane is dead, but there's no real objective on the map to play for right now. They can't convert it into a Baron. They can't convert it into a Mountain just yet. So Vitality, they don't really lose that much.
Not at all. It is the Luden's Pulse, by the way, Aphelios. I've just looked it up.
So we were actually changing the wrong word. We were
I changed Luden's Echo into Luden's
Echo.
Medic.
We were both wrong. It's all good.
Okay. We were
wrong together.
Okay, Vitality with a 2,000 gold lead here, but really at this point of the game it doesn't matter too much. 3 items for Crownshot on that Aphelios. Have to watch him in these late game team fights. He's really... Him alongside Jenax's Lifeform Disintegration Ray is all of the damage that's going to come out from SK.
Ooh, here we go. Oh, look. He's got Severum. Oh, and he's got Infernum. I mean, it can still hurt.
Infernum and Severum, like, he's going to shred through this.
Yeah.
He's going to go...
Oh, look, Vitality actually can't get anywhere near this. They have, like, 0 vision control. the observers highlighted how much they can actually see, and for Vitality, it's complete darkness right now.
Yeah, all of Vitality's vision is based around this soul that might be coming up in a second. Sacre may be giving the game away as he pops the call of the Forge Guard. Skeanz is on his way, could look for the skill. What a play it would be on your first day in the LEC, but Trick secures it, and now Sacre has started up the Mountain Dragon. It would be their soul, it would be their fourth, but SK running 5 members strong down towards this bottom side to stop them in their tracks. Now Jactroll and Vitality have the flank. We talked about it all the way back in pick and bans. Vitality need these flank positions to start off a fight. Jactroll going in, the power of the sun comes down, but he's not able to land it. Sacre though, now has the flank position, looking at the damage onto Jenax, almost takes him out, but Crownshot is opening up. He has the Cleavum, the Crescendum, everything just shredding through Vitality, but the soul has been picked up. Vitality have it. Still, you can see the damage coming out from Sacre. He will fall in the end. Comp gets one, Crownshot gets one, but Vitality end up getting the soul.
Wow. Vitality, yes, they secure the soul, and SK, they walk away with the Baron buff after that. Vitality's now going to pick up that hefty shield that they'll get as a result of having that soul, but let's have a look back at how this play happened. Sacre is getting in a position to flank. Medic, you talked a lot about it, how Vitality need to try and find these flanks, and I thought with the positioning that Sacre had, this was going to be a one team fight for Vitality, because immediately you split the team up. Trick and the Sacre on one side, Sacre having access to the carries, but really good response from Trick and Limit as they see Jenax in danger, both flashing to protect him. Of course, this does leave Ornn vulnerable, and it leaves the Mountain Drake available, but it was more important to keep the carry alive, and so Crownshot does pick himself up another kill. He's now level 16, 4 items completed, and he's feeling very strong, but also no summoner spells available on Jenax. Props to Sacre for finding that flank, because if you had been able to kill Jenax there, that could have been a huge swing and a massive win team fight for Vitality.
And as you said before the replay, the Mountain Soul now picked up for Vitality. You get this shield that scales with AP, with AD, and with health. And it means that really burst damage is just a lot harder for the enemy team. They can't just shred through you in a moment. They have to slowly chip away, but with something like an Aphelios, you can do that in these team fights. So Crownshot the one to watch alongside Jenax. For the side of Vitality, you have to keep your eyes on Sacre. He's been in the right position at the right time, too many times to count. Now, SK are looking towards this bottom lane. Trick with a good prey seeker will spot out Skeanz and Sacre. Going forward for the tower. The Baron buff still on for 35 seconds. Been a good Baron power play for them so far, but they want to open up just a little bit more of the Vitality base. They secured the tier 2 in the bottom lane. They would really like an inhibitor with SK, or an inhibitor tower at least. But Vitality, you've got to pop the bullet time to stop that from happening.
A lot of damage coming out. Look at that shield from Comp.
Yeah.
Man Drake definitely paying dividends in that aspect. It's going to be very difficult to kill this Misfortune.
Also has a Bloodthirster as well, so...
And the shield from...
Overheal.
Yes, and also the shield from Lee Sin as well.
Oh, all the shields. Safeguarded, overhealed, Bloodthirster.
There we go, though. This is the siege coming out from SK. You can see how much zone control is coming out from Vitality, but the ulti now coming out from Sacre.
Oh, Cabo has the flank. Here comes the team fight, and Trick is locked up at the start. Jactroll having to get away. Moonlight Vigil coming out there. Life Mode disintegration ray. That was the Gravitum. He locked him in place, and with it, they could follow with the Vel'Koz, but still, no one yet to fall from Vitality. The minion wave too far away for SK to push in.
Very close team fight between both these teams, but no one ends up dropping. Vitality are able to hold onto their base, and SK are able to get away with their lives. That was a scary flank coming out from Cabo. That looked like that was going to be a game changer, but SK, they were prepared for it. The ultimate came out early from Sacre, goes on to Sacre, meaning very difficult for him to get into the fight. A lot of the damage being absorbed initially by Jactroll, and remember, Comp did not have his ultimate available. Then, when Vitality gets closer and they try to engage onto SK, that's when they use their range to their advantage. Jenax fires his laser, and there's no way in which Vitality can commit to the fight.
I really like that combination. Crownshot switches to the Gravitum, chucks out the Moonlight Vigil, then roots everyone in place, and then the laser comes in. But unfortunately for SK, they weren't able to pick anyone up. However, if a fight goes that way once again, you have to think they will be rattling in the kills. Now, Baron, up in a minute 40. Elder Dragon, 2 minutes time. Hey, Veddy, you want to know something cool? Would be the first Elder Dragon of the decade in the LEC.
Will it, Medic?
Yeah.
I wonder how many new first of the decade it will be.
So you should be very thankful when I saw Lee Sin miss a Q in the last game. I was going to say it's the first LEC queue that's been missed in the LEC this decade.
I feel like there's a lot of firsts. It also depends on what you consider the first of a decade, Medic.
It does.
It does indeed.
A lot of people argue that 2021 will be the start of the decade.
And in all honesty, I don't care. So, we're going to focus on the game. The Baron spawns in about a minute's time. The Dragon spawns in about a minute and a half. Top lane is pushing. SK have abandoned that wave. They don't care about it. What else have we got setting up the bot wave? I'm going to have a quick look. Is that slow pushing? So, like, you get into a point of the game where cannon minions start spawning every... Ooh. Yeah. Ooh.
Oh. I love your leads into these fights. I call it Force God connects, but everyone's miles away. Okay, just concentrate on that. If something happens, I'll say it. Okay?
Yeah, so I'm trying to look at the minimap right now. So you get to a point in the game where cannon minions spawn every wave. It's like after 25 minutes, right? Which means that what you end up happening is like almost these wave freezes, and it means that the lane just almost stays in the same spot, as you can see in the bottom set, which means that it can't really be used for anything unless the team's go and clear it out. So we've got a bit of an A-ramp going on right now because neither team is setting up their side waves at all, and it's just resulting in both of them focusing on fighting in the mid lane, I guess.
And about the 10-minute mark in this game, you asked which rookie would be the one to take the risk, which rookie would be the guy to step up and risk making a mistake to make the play. And I think right now we're seeing that both of these teams are still a little bit uncomfortable in being that player to initiate, being that guy to pull the trigger on a fight, because right now,
Jactroll
just backing away. Jactroll lands Crownshot, but he uses the cleanse, flashes away. The bullet times come out. Jactroll down to half HP limit down there as well, but he's going to be healed up. Now Vitality can disengage, but Sacre is going to try and stop it. There's the Moonlight Vigil, not really going to do too much to Sacre, who can open up on Sacre. Down towards the bottom side of the fight, Crownshot is now flanking, coming back from the side. Cabochard stepping forward, but look at the damage from the Crescendum. Straight back into the Infernum there for Crownshot. He will shred through the entirety of Vitality if he can get those off. Sacre gonna have to run away. Baron is up, Elder is up, and SK actually pinning for the Elder instead. They want that. They do not want to give up that huge team fight buff.
They're also just in a much better position to contest for it because Vitality could have still challenged for that Baron, but right now Vitality are in no position to contest this. That's why they're rushing towards it. Sacre has gone back to base. He's now going to TP back in, but now they're in a position. Now they're looking to fight. What ultimates are available? None for Jactroll, none for Comp. Cabo and Sacre do have theirs up though.
Lifeform Disintegration is there as well. No Call of Forge God, but that is about 2 seconds away from being available. Sacre stepping into the bush, gaining vision for his team. There's Control Ward in the pit here. Trick with the Prey Seeker will start up that Elder, and now things get tense. Cabochard once again looking for the flank. Trick gonna tunnel away. Sacre stepping forward, takes out the Control Ward, but look at Jactroll, look at Skeanz, look at Cabo. See the positioning here from Vitality. There's no vision for SK around there. Now they'll know where Skeanz is. 10,000 HP on the Elder. Jactroll has the flank. They need to realize Crownshot, no flash, no cleanse, perhaps no life left, but he opens up with the Infernum. Stand up. There's the bullet time. Goodbye, Aphelios. Nothing he can do about it. Go back and join your sister on the moon. Sacre there. Gonna get locked up in the pit as well, and that's the Elder for Vitality. Great play around vision, great flanking positions, and Vitality should get this, but Trick is going in. They try and... Oh, it gets it away! No way should you do that, Trick. The 4-time champion of the LEC makes the play his team needs.
He does steal away the Elder, but that's not the objective you need to steal away. Baron is far more important this late into the game because while that Elder helps you with the team fights, it's not going to help you defend from a siege from this Baron up Vitality comp. Medic, you called it out. Really good setup from Vitality overall. The whole flank was coming together. Cabochard from one side, Jactroll from the other. And once they executed, they could get onto the flashless Aphelios, who was their target. Thank you, observers. Highlight here on Jactroll. We heard him yelling, and that was the call to go. They dive on top of Crownshot. He doesn't have the same defense. He does get good peel from Limit and Jenax, but when Cabo flashes on top of you, when Comp throws out the ultimate, there's very little you can do when you have no innate escapes. That allows Vitality to get the cleanup and start their way towards the Elder, but they can't stop Trick from getting into the pit. They go for the 50-50.
Oh, he smites way too early. Smite about 1,400 HP or so. Trick unable to escape at the end, but Elder Dragon still sitting on a couple of the SK players. You get this huge buff from it, executing enemies when they hit 20% health or less. You get this immolation damage. It's more lasers in the game for you, Vel'Koz. I know how much you love a good laser.
Yes. That is true. Now,
Thanks
Sacre
for
is-
agreeing with me.
Sacre now pushing in the bot lane. He's going to wait for the rest of his team to group up. They're looking to try and control this bot side of the map. Top lane, I don't think it's been touched in the last like 10 minutes. Doesn't matter, they don't need it. Oh, Vitality's actually going to reset here. They've only got a minute and a half left on the Baron. Remember that 30 seconds was kicked off of the Baron duration compared to last year. So you only have a smaller window to actually utilize it now. You know, Medic, did you know that this was the longest game of the decade so far in the LEC?
You got me with my own thing! That's cool, man.
Yeah, it hurts my soul though.
You know, this was the first Mountain Soul.
Why would you have to ruin it? You had to ruin it, didn't you?
So,
where are they setting up? Wait, they've gone top lane. Wait a minute.
so this is the thing, you can't neglect a lane for that long. Eventually you have to go back to it.
But I mean, they really didn't need to play. I guess, I don't know. Anyway.
Betty, we're 44 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
We've had 3 Barons.
I feel like we've got another 4 minutes in store.
We have an Elder Dragon that went to the team that had just lost 2 players. We have a Mountain Soul. I don't think we really know exactly how this game's gonna develop.
No, Comp's got a big shield.
He has got a big shield, and their tower's gonna fall. So this is good. 3,000 gold or so from the Baron buff so far.
Wow, that was good damage from Jenax.
Yeah, Jenax with a Rabadon's Death Cap, a Luden's Pulse, a Banshee's Veil, and a Morello Nomicon will do quite a bit of damage. We've got basically full builds on both the AD carries as well. Who is stronger? And I don't really know either, right? If MF gets a full bullet time off, that's going to be great, but Aphelios has more innate utility in his kit, I guess. At the moment,
So we,
it's winning by 847 damage.
So, again, I think like both comps are kind of geared towards team fighting.
Yeah.
I felt like Vitality had the stronger early game, but to me, whenever you look at a champion like an Ornn, you should be the team that has the stronger late game because you kind of get to dictate how fights are started.
And you get like a few thousand free gold worth of items, right?
So, like, on paper, that's kind of how it looks to me, but execution is a large factor in these fights. We saw that what happens, because Crownshot is the primary damage dealer and Jenax and Crownshot don't have a lot of mobility, if Vitality can set up where the bullet time can just freely go off and that Jactroll is able to get a good engage, then you can dive on top of him with Cabochard. But when it comes to a straight up front to back team fight, I feel like SK should be stronger because their front line is just subjectively stronger and the range from their carries is longer as well. So that's what I feel, but like the way in which these fights have been playing out has gone in favor of Vitality. But I also think that's just because SK like are too afraid to pull the trigger. I feel like we've not really seen SK be the initiators of a fight yet. So
I mean, a lot of inexperienced players on this SK team.
well, not really.
No,
actually.
so Jenax had 7 games in summer. Sacre's been around for, say, a couple of splits. Trick has a lot of experience, but then Crownshot has been around for 2 splits, and Limit has been around for no time at all.
Like, I acknowledge that,
right?
but like if you assume that Trick is your shot caller, your leader, I feel like you could just say engage, and Sacre's just got to press R, right?
Sure.
So, I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. You know, it's obviously only game 1 for both these teams, and I don't want to judge them too harshly based on it. Like, I think we can both agree that we have been seeing some... Is trepidation the right word?
Yeah, trepidation's a good word.
From both of these teams, and obviously, again, they want to start off on a win. It's
of course
important.
you do.
Like, especially for a rookie roster, to go 1-0 on day 1 is definitely a good morale booster.
And in a game against people you expect to be playing around the bottom of playoffs, you know?
For sure. So, it's understandable why they're playing safe. We'll just have to see who is able to finally get that successful engage off. And
So,
right now, it's SK that have priority on the mid lane. They've protected those minions.
Yeah, the fact that some of these minions have survived makes this a free tower.
Oh, okay. Vitality are actually going for a split push. Yeah, no, that's a massive mistake. You can't do that. So they just get a free inhibitor.
Great play by SK, shepherding the minions in.
Wait, but now they're in a position to collapse.
Yeah, they have a flank position, but Sacre is here, trying to get up to Jactroll, but he face plants straight into the wall. They're looking for Crownshot, but Crownshot didn't even need to use his stumps to get away. The Moonlight Vigil does connect, but here is Cabochard down towards the bottom side, surrounded by 4. Into the GA, the kickback, once again it's Crownshot, but look at the damage from Jenax, just ripping through Vitality. Cabochard running for the hills and running back to the fountain. Skeanz is going to try and get away, but once again, Vedius, the Elder Drake is alive.
And Crownshot summoner spells are all still available.
Yeah.
It looked like Vitality had a good collapse there, but they couldn't execute upon it. and they end up getting punished. We got to see a little bit more of the team fighting power. Like, Crownshot was just untouched.
Yeah.
If you don't get on top of him, he just melts through everyone that comes close to him. He had the crescendum available to him, and so much damage. Now, the Baron is alive as well. Sacre is sitting in this bush.
This has to be the biggest play you ever done.
He's not going to make the risk. You can see the damage on his screen right now. Sacre did 0-0?
He wasn't in the fight.
Oh, of course, yeah. He went bot lane, didn't he? Yeah.
But here we go. Will Skeanz be able to steal? Will Vitality even fight through it? You can see they get a little bit of vision with the Farsight alteration, but Sacre perhaps is going to go in. Skeanz has the blast cone. 6,000 HP left on that Baron. SK still looking for it. Skeanz. Sonic Wave, 3,000, not going to be able to get in there. He knows that there's not really too much he can do. The Call of the Forge God will keep him away, and that is the Baron, 4th of the game, alongside the Elder Drake. SK now in a commanding seat in this matchup.
Yeah, it felt like Vitality had everything they needed to end the game, but then, like, a small mistake here. Like, they kept playing towards bot side of the map.
Oh.
This was the decision where they said, hey, no, you can push bot, go for an inhibitor trade. But of course, Crownshot's like, hey, I have a bunch of chakrams.
So watch Crownshot in this fight, assuming we see the rest of the replay, because Jactroll tries to jump on him, and Crownshot sidesteps are beautiful.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye as Jactroll goes in. So you see the stun, all the CC comes down onto Braum. It gets wasted onto Limit, and now it's Cabochard by himself onto Crownshot. Crownshot does get kicked in, but the laser does a great job of zoning the rest of Vitality away. Comp, I don't think he even used his ultimate in that fight. And yeah, SK just really good execution, and honestly just mis-execution coming out from Vitality.
A bit of a mixed call from them. Remember that Sacre isn't part of their usual starting lineup. It will be Milica replacing him as soon as Milica gets well again. So perhaps they haven't practiced together that much. Perhaps there's a degree of just misalignment on how they wanted to play that. But now SK having opened up that mid inhib with the Elder Dragon still on them. The bullet time going to try and get rid of some of these minions, but there's double cannon still waiting. And you can see how quickly that tower does fall. That's one. Looking for the seconds. They go towards the inhibitor. SK trying to open up their ledger with a win here in the LEC. And it will take something miraculous from Vitality and from Sacre particularly to stop it. Teleport coming in with the flank hit. Cabochard looking forward, but that Nexus tower, the first focus for SK. Lifelong disintegration rate almost takes down Comp. Just ticking away, just about survives. First Nexus tower's down. Sacre stepping on the front line. The damage already on Skeanz. He's going to get locked up. Just need one more order, but can't quite get it. Comp trying to open up. Sacre forced away. Again, one more shot would be enough, but the Nexus should just be the target here for SK. Jactroll jumps in, but the cleanse away from Crownshot. Jactroll almost falls. Skeanz low as well. Sacre there, but the Nexus tower. The Nexus, the target, SK. 1-0 in the LEC here in spring.
Definitely a surprising end to the game. A simple mispositioning error from Vitality in the mid lane where they made the wrong call, they made the wrong decision, and SK end up executing better. But like we said it throughout the game, it felt like that there were a lot of nerves, a lot of caution being taken for both teams.
And it's expected. It's expected in week one, day one, that perhaps you're a little bit anxious and you have that trepidation, as you said. I think the teams will be able to go home and say, well, there's some very obvious things we want to improve on. We want to have more decisive calls. We want to be a little bit more aggressive. But you take those in the end of the day. At the end of the split, it will still say 1-0 to SK.
Like props to Sacre, he did a lot of good stuff throughout the game.